Hi, this is Katherine and Christopher Tipper of Hunter Benefits Consulting Group, and what is it?
We're keeping that in. This is Friday afternoon, and this is the On the Couch series, the Friday afternoon bourbon edition. How's everybody doing? How are you doing?
Doing okay.
All right.
So what's...
Hey, wait a minute.
Right.
It's not Friday. It's not Friday.
Okay.
Now it's Friday.
So what's on your mind, Christopher?
A couple of things, but we're starting to get more people in the room while we're doing this, which I love. What do we have for new updates? Anything new in the past week? You said something before?
5500 EZ electronically filed.
So that's a good subject for a different video.
And also there was some clarification issued by the IRS on the Secures Act.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll have to look for that. Okay. Didn't know that, so thank you. All right. This might be the last video we record before Christmas, so we'll see how long this one goes if we're going to split it into 2 videos.
Sure.
All right. What I wanted to do today, if it's all right with you, all right,
Sure.
is have a conversation about a brand new client setting up a brand new plan.
Okay.
All right, 401k plan. Let's keep it simple.
Okay.
All right, they've never had a plan before.
Okay.
It's their first plan.
Yep.
They don't know what a 401k plan is. Not a lot of employees.
Oh, good.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we're not talking Walmart or United Airlines.
Okay.
So not a lot of employees. And even though we have some specific methodologies or ideas or whatever, let's maybe try to keep it not to Hunter benefits process, but to a little bit more general. And if we're doing something that's Hunter benefit specific, we'll talk about that. All right?
Sure.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So what I was hoping, because I think it's a natural role for you,
Go for it.
is that you play HR
Okay.
and I'll play the compliance geek.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. All right. I'll play the compliance geek. All right. Now then, there are, simply put, because remember we're talking brand new plan, brand new 401k plan, there are 3 main areas in a plan document that we need to have questions addressed. All right? Or does that sound right? Yeah. Okay. So who's in the plan when? What money is going in the plan? And what money is coming out of the plan when? So we got 3 main areas.
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
And there's lots of different ideas that different companies have, all right, as to how the document should be filled out. Okay?
And why are there variables in that?
Good question. Because you've got differences in employee count, you've got differences in turnover, you've got differences in stability of the company, all right? You've got differences in how much cash flow the employer has, and you've got differences, I don't know if this is saying the same thing again, you've got some companies are growing, some in terms of size and everything else, some companies are static, all right? Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. Now then, we have a company with low turnover,
Yes.
all right? So let's talk about creating a brand new plan document that you would like to see in operation. And because we're a company with low turnover, I will mention the counterpoints as to how a company with high turnover would have the plan document written. Does that make sense?
Sounds
okay.
fair. Yep.
Now then, with a small employer, you're in charge of HR. We have an outside payroll service.
Yep.
Okay, right?
Yep.
All right. When would you like new employees to be able to start making 401k contributions?
I want them to do it the first day of the first month after hire, because that ties to the cafeteria plan that we have.
So this is the middle of December, so you'd want somebody hired today to come in January 1st. If somebody gets hired in the middle of January, they're coming in February 1st.
Yes.
Okay. If you're going to make an employer contribution, do you want that to start at the same time, or would you want that to start a little bit later?
I like, and that's how our plan is written, is to have the flexibility to make contributions when I have the cash flow.
Okay. but
to put it straight up.
but is an employee who just started, so an employee who started today, if you're making a contribution in January, is that employee getting it, or are you going to wait for that, or are you going to wait longer for that employee to get a contribution?
Well, it's written that there's a much longer waiting period for new employees to get employer money.
For the employment. Okay, so you're
Right.
gonna have two different waiting periods, right?
Right.
Which we can do. So you're gonna have new employees be able to make deferrals. And do you care if it's Roth or not?
No.
No, you don't. It's just pre-tax or Roth.
It just
right?
needs to be clear.
It just needs to be clear on the enrollment form, right? But then you're going to have the option, or you have the plan you've selected the option in the plan document to have employees wait longer for employer contributions.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. So that kind of contribution setup will work really well for employers with low turnover. All right,
Right.
because you don't have people coming and going. What's an example of a really high turnover company that you could think of?
Fast food.
Fast food. Okay, so let's pick on your local McDonald's. All right, and I know we're not going to bring Illinois Secure Choice into this. All right, please. All right. So what we very often see with companies with high turnover, because they still have the same goals as you. They want clarity. They
Right.
want ease of operation. All
Right.
right. What we're going to try to do is have a look at when they're not having high turnover. I hope that makes sense. So if their staff is usually gone within 6 months, but if they're there after 6 months, they're there for a really long time, we'll probably have a 6-month entry period or something like that. All right? Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay.
Because you're able to keep track of the staff that stays after a certain amount of time. It's
Correct.
easier to know who they are and not have somebody quit in 3 days and have a $5 balance. You got to chase them.
Correct, absolutely. And I also as part of this, because we're trying to keep this to be less than a 6-hour video, we're not going to talk about the complexities of automatic enrollment. All right. So this is just basic deferral. All right. Now then, also I'm glad other people are giggling. So one of the differences with our plan, all right, has a much more almost pro rata contribution formula, right? So the way we have our plan set up is we're a little bit, everybody's in it together, all right?
Right.
So again, the new employees coming in right away works operationally. We do have some clients, or let's put it this way, if you are representing a company where the purpose of the owner for having a plan is to have as much of the contribution go to them as possible, we are going to have the waiting period be absolutely as long as possible, because we're keeping the numbers down to be as low as possible, and the math works out better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because then you don't have eligible participants that aren't contributing.
Right.
And that's a big problem.
Among other things. Correct. Okay. So now then, so we know how long somebody's going to have to be in your employee before they get a contribution, right?
Yep.
Okay. Or be able to make a contribution.
Right.
Now then, you as HR, do you want the plan document to have complete flexibility as to what the formulas are, or do you as HR want formulas written into the document?
Oh, I like the flexibility.
You would like a plan document without
Right.
any formulas written in there. Okay.
I know I need to be fair and I
Right.
need to follow the law,
Right.
but I don't want to be locked into it better be this, every 2 weeks.
Or something. Well, or at least a formula, something like that.
Right.
Okay, but now, so that's good. Agree with you 100%. Actually,
Right.
from a compliance point of view, whether it's a small plan or a big plan, low turnover, high turnover, that's how I like to have it written. However, we're just at the beginning. We're at the head or the tail? Their head. We're at the beginning of dealing with the new amendments and restatements. We talked about this a little bit a video or two ago. All right. And there has been a change with the new Cycle 3 plan documents in that we cannot have a match formula that just says completely discretionary. There has to be something in there like pro rata or the same dollar amount or there has to be something defined in the adoption agreement for the match. So that's going forward.
I want to show something right now. You're doing a great job at consulting and explaining all the opportunities, But actually, when we set up a document, it could be a smaller conversation to get the document going and later more consulting to
True.
flex things out. Because right now you're talking about on the edges stuff, right? And we can do that, right? We can make it rock. But part of what I want as a brand new 401k person is that I need a clear path because I need to know how to operate it because the
Right.
biggest problem for a lot of plans is not operating their plan according to the document. And if the document is difficult and has all sorts of weird...
Too many variables,
your HR person is actually dead in their tracks. And it creates liability for the company. So are 401k plans a land of liability? No, not if the plan's designed well. If it's designed in a way that you can operate it, then everybody is happy. So,
good point.
So anyway, so bringing this back in terms of all the things that you know that you can put in a plan when you're actually having this initial conversation, it could be simple, it could be complex, depending on some things. And it depends on, what your staff is like. Do you need a lot of complexity to handle?
You're talking about the employer staff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And whether or not they have full-time HR or if the person in doing payroll has now 99 other functions. Yeah. That helps change the conversation as to how much complexity you want to have in the plan document.
But your goal of this conversation was to say, I need these 3 piles of information. And it is a kind of known universe of what you want.
Right.
But what you are actually showing is your ability to know all these other things. But we do want to kind of pull it in. It's your beginning plan. We'll make it as flexible as a value, but as coherent as possible so you can actually operate it.
Absolutely.
So what else do you want to know when you set up a plan?
Okay, we've talked a little bit about employers. You're saying you don't want any formulas in the plan document. We just mentioned really quickly the new changes with cycle 3. Agree with you wholeheartedly. Okay. Now, so we've got who gets in the plan, when,
right?
What money is going into the plan. So then the third and final thing is how does money come out?
Right.
All right. So how do you think money comes out of a plan? What are the 3 different ways?